Hello.
Hello. It's good to connect with you again. What's on your mind for today's discussion?
So today is March the 3rd, 2024. It has been 1 month since we had our last session. So I was busy for the Chinese New Year and various other activities. So finally had have the time to talk with you.
Welcome back. I hope you had a wonderful Chinese New Year and enjoyed your various activities. Is there a particular topic? Conversation?
So today let's talk about the ports, the famous ports around the globe, as we have planned last time.
Certainly. Discussing famous ports around the globe sounds like an interesting topic. Which specific ports are you interested in, or would you like me to provide information about some of the major ports worldwide?
Yes, let's start by talking about the most famous, maybe 10 ports around the world. I want you to first give me a list of these ports.
Sure. Here are 10 of the most famous ports around the world. 1. Port of Shanghai, China. 2. Port of Singapore, Singapore. 3. Port of Rotterdam, Netherlands. 4. Port of Los Angeles, United States. 5. Port of Hong Kong, China. 6. Port of Busan, South Korea. 7. Port of Dubai, United Arab. 9. Antwerp, Belgium. 10. Port of Yokohama, Japan. These ports are strategically important for global trade, serving as major hubs for the exchange of goods and facilitating international maritime commerce. If you'd like more details about any specific port, or if you have any questions, feel free to let me know.
So let's go by talking those ports one by one, and we will be talking about their name, their location, and their volume, and maybe even talk about some of the typical routes of starting from those ports for the global trade.
Absolutely. Let's dive into each port. 1. Port of Shanghai, China. Location, situated on the East China Sea, it's one of the world's busiest ports. Volume, among the largest in terms of cargo throughput and container handling. Typical routes, connects to major ports worldwide, serving as a key link in the global supply chain. 2. Port of Singapore, Singapore. Location, located at the crossroads of major shipping routes in Southeast Asia. Volume, one of the busiest ports globally, known for container handling and transshipment. Typical routes, critical hub for shipping between Asia, Europe, and the Americas. 3. Port of Rotterdam, Netherlands. Location, in the North Sea, Europe's largest and a vital gateway to the continent. Volume, a major European port, handling vast amounts of goods and containers. Typical routes, key connection for trade between Europe, Asia, and the Americas. Feel free to let me know if you want to continue with more details on these or move on to the next ports on the list.
Let's continue on other ports in the list.
Certainly. Let's move on to the next set of ports. 4. Port of Los Angeles, United States. Location, on the west coast of the United States, overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Volume, one of the busiest ports in the Americas, handling a significant portion of U.S. trade. Typical routes, vital for trade between the U.S., Asia, and other parts of the Americas. 5. Port of Hong Kong, China. Location, along the South China Sea, a major gateway to China. Volume, historically one of the busiest ports, focusing on container traffic and transshipment. Typical routes, critical for connecting Asia, Europe, and other regions. 6. Port of Busan, South Korea. Location, on the southeastern tip of the Korean peninsula. Volume, among the largest ports in South Korea, specializing in container handling. Typical routes, crucial for trade in Northeast Asia and connections to global markets. Feel free to let me know if you'd like more details on these ports or if you're ready to move on to the next ones.
Let's move on to the next one.
Certainly. Let's continue with the next set of ports. 7. Port of Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Location, situated on the southeast coast of the Persian Gulf. Volume, a key hub in the Middle East, known for container handling and general cargo. Typical routes, connects the Middle East to global markets with a focus on trade routes to Asia and Europe. 8. Port of Hamburg, Germany. Location in northern Germany along the Elbe River. Volume, one of Europe's largest ports, handling diverse cargo types. Typical routes, crucial for trade within Europe and a major gateway to the Baltic Sea. 9. Port of Antwerp, Belgium. Location, on the Scheldt River, one of Europe's largest seaports. Volume, known for its extensive container handling and diverse cargo traffic. Typical routes, key for trade within Europe and connections to global markets. Feel free to let me know if you'd like to explore more details on these ports, or proceed to the next ones on the list.
Let's proceed to the next one.
Certainly. Let's move on to the final set of ports on our list. 10. Port of Yokohama, Japan. Location near Tokyo Bay, one of Japan's major ports. Volume, handles a significant portion of Japan's trade, specializing in container traffic. Typical routes, important for connecting Japan to global trade routes, particularly in the Asia-Pacific region. These ports play crucial roles in facilitating international trade, connecting regions, and contributing to the global economy. If you have any specific questions about these ports, or if there's anything else you'd like to explore, feel free to let me know.
Okay, so from that list, I have one question here. So I have one question specific to Hong Kong. So how is the port in Hong Kong being so important?
The Port of Hong Kong holds strategic importance for several reasons. 1. Geographical location. Hong Kong is situated along major shipping routes in the South China Sea, making it a natural and convenient hub for maritime trade. 2. Transshipment hub. The port serves as a transshipment hub, meaning it facilitates the transfer of goods between different vessels. This is particularly crucial for container shipping. 3. Gateway to China. Hong Kong has historically been a gateway to China, providing efficient access. 4. Financial and commercial hub. As a global financial and commercial center, Hong Kong attracts significant international business. The port plays a pivotal role in supporting the city's economic activities. 5. Infrastructure and efficiency. Hong Kong's well-developed infrastructure, including modern container terminals and efficient logistics, contributes to the port's importance. Overall, the Port of Hong Kong acts as a key interface, playing a vital role in facilitating the flow of goods and contributing to the region's economic growth. If you have more questions, or if there's another aspect you'd like to explore, feel free to let me know.
So there was some network connection issue, so I didn't fully get everything about the gateway part for the Hong Kong port.
No worries. Gateway. The Port of Hong Kong has historically served as a gateway for international trade to and from mainland China. Here's why. 1. Strategic location. Hong Kong is strategically located along major shipping routes, making it an ideal entry point for vessels coming from various parts of the world. 2. Efficient access to mainland China. Due to its proximity to mainland China, Hong Kong's port provides efficient access for goods entering or leaving China. 3. Transshipment hub. The port's transshipment capabilities enable goods to be efficiently transferred between different vessels, enhancing the overall flow of international trade. In summary, the Port of Hong Kong acts as a gateway by seamlessly connecting global trade networks with China, playing a pivotal role in facilitating the movement of goods and enhancing international commerce. If you have any further questions or if there's another topic you'd like to explore, feel free to let me know.
So I'm still don't fully understand this. So you have mentioned like Shanghai is the biggest port around the world, right? So it's from the map we can see that Hong Kong is not far from the Shanghai. So how and why is Hong Kong is a proxy to the China for the trade?
Certainly, let's break it down. 1. Strategic location. While Shanghai is indeed one of the world's largest ports, Hong Kong's strategic location along major shipping routes in the South China Sea gives it a unique advantage. It is positioned closer to international trade routes and serves as a natural entry and exit point for vessels navigating these routes. Number 2, historical role. Hong Kong has a long history of international trade and has been a significant global financial and commercial hub. This historical role has contributed to its importance as a gateway for goods entering or leaving China. 3. Efficient transshipment. Hong Kong's port is equipped with
Please continue. Sorry, I mistyped on my screen.
No problem at all. If you have any specific aspects you'd like to explore further, or if there's another port you're interested in, feel free to let me know. Whether it's diving deeper into the significance of specific ports, discussing global trade routes, or exploring any related topic, I'm here to assist you. Just let me know how you'd like to proceed.
Yeah, I'm still interested in the Hong Kong port. So, how and why Hong Kong is a proxy for the goods to be transported?
Certainly. The role of Hong Kong as a proxy for goods transportation is influenced by several factors. 1. International trade hub. Hong Kong has historically served as a major international trade hub due to its strategic location and well-established infrastructure. Its port facilities are designed to efficiently handle a vast volume of goods from various parts of the world. 2. Ease of doing business. Hong Kong's business-friendly environment, efficient customs procedures, and transparent regulatory framework make it an attractive destination for companies engaged in international trade. Businesses find it convenient to use Hong Kong as a focal point for managing and transshipping goods. 3. Gateway to mainland China. While Shanghai is a significant port on its own, Hong Kong's proximity to mainland China and its efficient transportation links make it a gateway for goods entering or leaving China. Goods arriving at Hong Kong's port can easily be transported to different parts of mainland China, leveraging its well-connected transportation network. 4. Transshipment facilities. Hong Kong's port is equipped with advanced transshipment facilities. This means that goods can be seamlessly transferred from one vessel to another, allowing for efficient onward transportation to their final destinations. This transshipment capability enhances the overall effectiveness of using Hong Kong as a proxy for goods movement. 5. Global financial center. As a global financial center, Hong Kong attracts a diverse range of businesses. The port plays a key role in supporting the logistics and supply chain needs of these businesses engaged in international trade. In summary, Hong Kong's role as a proxy for goods transportation is influenced by its historical prominence as an international trade hub, its favorable business environment, and its strategic position as a gateway to mainland China. The efficient transshipment facilities further enhance its suitability for managing the movement of goods across global trade networks. If you have more questions or if there's a specific aspect you'd like to explore further, feel free to let me know.
Yeah, so as we all know, right, so currently Hong Kong is still in the one country, two system, right? So which basically means it has a different kind of political system and also tax system. So I'm wondering, so in the context of the goods transportation, so what are the typical procedures for some of the goods to coming out from the mainland and also coming into the mainland? So I guess must be some paperwork need to be handled, right?
Certainly. In the context of the one country, two systems framework, when goods are transported between mainland China and Hong Kong, there are specific procedures and paperwork involved. 2. Export license if applicable. Certain goods may require an export license from mainland Chinese authorities before they can be shipped to Hong Kong. 3. Documentation for transportation. Standard shipping documentation, including the bill of lading and other transport-related documents, will be required for the goods to be transported across the border. 4. Tax and duties. Depending on the nature of the goods, taxes and duties may apply. It's crucial to comply with the tax regulations and fulfill any necessary payment obligations. Importing goods from Hong Kong to mainland China. 1. Customs declaration. Importers in mainland China need to submit a customs declaration for goods arriving from Hong Kong. This declaration provides information about the goods being imported. 2. Import license, if applicable. Some goods may require an import license from mainland Chinese authorities. Importers should ensure they have the necessary permits for specific products. 3. Documentation for transportation. Standard shipping documentation, including the bill of lading and other transport-related documents, is essential for the smooth movement of goods across the border. 4. Tax and duties. Import duties and taxes may apply to goods entering mainland China. Importers are responsible for complying with tax regulations and making necessary payments. 5. Customs clearance. Goods need to go through customs clearance procedures at the border. This involves inspection and verification to ensure compliance with regulations. These procedures help regulate the flow of goods between mainland China and Hong Kong, taking into account the different systems in place. It's essential for businesses engaged in cross-border trade to be well-versed in these processes to ensure smooth and compliant transportation of goods. If you have more specific questions or if there's another aspect you'd like to delve into, feel free to let me know.
So are those sets of the rules or the policies also apply to the other ports in China? For example, like Shanghai or Ningbo port.
While there are general principles and regulations governing international trade and customs procedures in China, the specific implementation may vary slightly between different ports, including Shanghai, Ningbo, and others. Each port may have its own administrative processes, and there could be some nuances based on the local regulations and operational guidelines. Here's a general perspective. 1. Customs procedures. All major ports in China, including Shanghai and Ningbo, adhere to national customs procedures. These include customs declarations, documentation requirements, and inspections to ensure compliance with import and export regulations. 2. Import and export licenses. Similar to Hong Kong, goods exported from mainland China to other countries, including Hong Kong, require adherence to export regulations. Likewise, imports into mainland China from various origins, including Hong Kong, must comply with import regulations. 3. Taxation and duties. Taxes and duties applicable to imported goods may vary slightly based on the specific region, but they generally align with national tax policies. This includes value-added tax, VAT, consumption tax, and other relevant duties. 4. Customs clearance. Customs clearance procedures are standard across major ports. Goods undergo inspection, verification, and clearance to ensure compliance with regulations before entering or leaving the country. While the fundamental principles are consistent, local authorities at each port may have their own administrative processes and interpretations. It's essential for businesses engaged in international trade to be aware of any specific requirements or variations that may exist at the individual ports they operate through. If you have a particular port in mind, or if there's a specific aspect you'd like to explore further, please let me know, and I'll provide more targeted information.
So you can see in the south region of the China, there are many ports, right? So the Shanghai, the Hong Kong, the Ningbo port. So that makes me thinking that what are the difference between those ports? Are there any competition between those ports? So let's also assume if I'm a business owner, so which port should I use to transport my products?
Absolutely, the ports in the southern region of China, including Shanghai, Hong Kong, and Ningbo, are major players in international trade. Each port has its own strengths, and businesses may choose a particular port based on various factors. Here are some key differences and considerations. 1. Location. Shanghai. Located on the central eastern coast, it's a strategic gateway to the Yangtze River Delta and inland regions. Hong Kong. Positioned at the southern tip, it's a gateway to southern China and a hub for transshipment in Asia. Ningbo, situated south of Shanghai, it's close to the Yangtze River Delta and serves as a major seaport. 2. Infrastructure. Shanghai has extensive infrastructure and connectivity, including a vast container terminal and well-developed transportation links. Hong Kong, known for its efficient and advanced logistics infrastructure, including deep-water berths and excellent connectivity. Ningbo features modern facilities and deep-water berths, making it one of China's busiest ports. 3. Trade routes. Shanghai, a crucial hub for both domestic and international trade, serving as a key point on major shipping routes. Ningbo primarily functions as a major port for handling direct imports and exports. 5. Competition. There is some competition among these ports, but they also complement each other by serving different regions and trade routes. 6. Business considerations. Your business location? Choose a port based on the proximity to your manufacturing facilities or distribution centers. Target markets. Consider which port provides better access to your target markets. Shipping routes. Assess the shipping routes each port connects to and choose based on your specific trade lanes. Ultimately, the choice between Shanghai, Hong Kong, and Ningbo will depend on your business needs, supply chain considerations, and target markets. Many businesses may utilize multiple ports in their logistics strategies to leverage the strengths of each. If you have specific criteria or preferences, let me know, and I can provide more tailored advice.
So you said a term called deep water berth. I don't know what that means. Can you maybe elaborate on that?
Certainly. A deep water berth refers to a section of a port or harbor where ships can dock or anchor in deep water. The term is often used in maritime and shipping contexts. Here's a bit more detail. 1. Depth of water. Deep water in this context means that the water depth at the berth is sufficient to accommodate large vessels, including those with substantial drafts. The distance from the waterline to the deepest part of the ship below the water surface. Ships with deeper drafts require deeper water to navigate safely. 2. Benefits of deep water berths. Large vessel handling. Ports with deep water berths can handle larger ships, including container vessels, bulk carriers, and oil tankers. This is crucial for accommodating the increasing size of modern cargo and tanker ships. Access for fully loaded ships. Ships are often loaded to their maximum capacity for efficiency. Deep water berths allow these fully loaded vessels to approach and dock without concerns about water depth. 3. Port infrastructure. Dredging. Some ports invest in dredging activities to maintain or deepen their water channels, ensuring that deep water berths remain accessible to larger vessels. Navigational safety. Deep water reduces the risk of grounding for large ships, providing a safer environment for navigation. 4. Types of ports. Major ports. Many major international ports, especially those accommodating global trade routes, have deep water berths to handle large vessels and ensure competitiveness in the shipping industry. Transshipment hubs. Ports that serve as transshipment hubs, facilitating the transfer of cargo between different ships, may also have deep water berths. 5. Global trade dynamics. Competitive advantage. Ports with deep water berths gain a competitive advantage in attracting shipping lines and handling a diverse range of cargo. In summary, a deep water berth is a crucial component of port infrastructure, allowing ports to handle larger vessels and ensuring that they remain competitive in the dynamic global shipping industry. It's a key consideration for ports seeking to accommodate the evolving needs of modern maritime trade.
Okay, so let's move on to talk more about Rotterdam in the Netherlands.
I'm sorry, but it seems there might be a misunderstanding. You mentioned real time in the LASTA, but it's not clear what you're referring to with LASTA. Could you please provide more context or clarify the term LASTA so I can better assist you?
I must be pronounce it wrong. I'm talking about the Rotterdam port in the country of Netherlands.
No problem. You're referring to the Rotterdam port in the Netherlands. How can I assist you with information about the Rotterdam port or any specific aspect you're interested in?
Yeah, I'm interested in the maybe some of the history of this port and why it's so important for the global good trade.
Certainly. The Port of Rotterdam in the Netherlands has a rich history and is one of the most significant and busiest ports globally. Here's a brief overview. History. 1. Origins. The port's history dates back to the 14th century when a dam was constructed on the Rotter River, giving rise to the name Rotterdam. Over time, it evolved into a bustling trading hub. 2. Expansion. In the 19th century, the port underwent significant expansion with the construction of modern infrastructure, including deeper waterways and larger docks. The opening of the Nieuwe Waterweg, New Waterway, in 1872 enhanced access for larger vessels. 3. Strategic location. Rotterdam's strategic location near major European markets, combined with its excellent connectivity to the Rhine River and the North Sea, contributed to its prominence. Importance for global trade. 1. Europe's gateway. Rotterdam is often referred to as Europe's gateway due to its central location and efficient transportation links, making it a primary entry point for goods into Europe. 2. Container handling. The port is a major container handling facility, facilitating the flow of goods between Europe and other continents. It has state-of-the-art container terminals. Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
So, so by the gateway to the European, are you saying that all the goods has to be first transferred to Rotterdam? Then it can those goods will be distributed to the other countries in the European, right?
Yes, you've got it right. Rotterdam serves as a crucial gateway to Europe, especially for goods arriving by sea. While not all goods necessarily pass through Rotterdam, it plays a central role in receiving and distributing goods across the continent. Here's how it generally works. 1. International shipping. Many goods from various parts of the world arrive at the port of Rotterdam by sea. These could be containers, bulk goods, or energy resources. 2. Distribution hub Rotterdam, due to its strategic location and excellent transportation infrastructure, acts as a major distribution hub for Europe. Goods entering Rotterdam can be efficiently transported by road, rail, or inland waterways to different regions within Europe. 3. Connectivity. The port's connectivity to major European markets, including Germany, France, Belgium, and beyond, makes it a preferred entry point for shipments destined for these countries. 4. Efficient logistics. Rotterdam's logistics capabilities, including advanced container terminals and transportation networks, enable the smooth movement of goods to their final destinations across the continent. While Rotterdam is a key player, it's worth noting that some goods may also be directly transported to other European ports based on factors such as proximity, specific trade routes, and the nature of the cargo. Nonetheless, Rotterdam's status as Europe's largest port underscores its central role in facilitating the flow of goods into and within the continent.
So, what are the routes for goods transported starting from the China to the Rotterdam? Are those routes need to go through the Suez Canal and the Mediterranean Sea?
The transportation routes for goods from China to the Red Sea can take several paths, and the choice of route depends on factors such as cargo type, cost, and time considerations. Here are two common routes. One, Suez Canal route. Starting in China, goods often begin their journey from ports in eastern China, such as Shanghai, Ningbo, or Qingdao. Red Sea arrival. After passing through the Suez Canal, ships enter the Red Sea and can reach destinations such as the Gulf of Aden, the Arabian Sea, or proceed to the northern part of the Indian Ocean. 2. Alternative northern route, Trans-Siberian Railway. Some goods may be transported via the Trans-Siberian Railway through Russia, reaching European ports such as those in the Baltic Sea. Northern Sea route. Depending on the season and ice conditions, a northern sea route along the Arctic coastline may be considered for certain shipments. This route connects the East Asian region to European ports. Factors influencing the choice between these routes include the type of cargo, shipping costs, time sensitivity, and considerations related to geopolitical or environmental factors. Keep in mind that shipping routes can be dynamic, and the maritime industry continuously adapts to changing conditions. The Suez Canal route remains a primary choice for many shipments due to its efficiency, but alternative routes provide flexibility based on specific needs.
Yes, so I think you heard me wrong. So I'm talking about how the goods are shipped. How the goods are shipped from Shanghai to Rotterdam port. So not Red Sea.
I apologize for any confusion. If you're specifically asking about shipping goods from Shanghai to Rotterdam, the typical route involves maritime transportation through various seas and canals. Here's a simplified overview. 1. East China Sea. Goods depart from the port in Shanghai, located along the East China Sea. 2. Through the Taiwan Strait. Depending on the chosen route, ships may navigate through the Taiwan Strait, situated between Taiwan and mainland China. 3. South China Sea. After passing through the Taiwan Strait, the ships enter the South China Sea. 4. Malacca Strait. A common route involves passing through the Strait of Malacca, a narrow passage between the Malay Peninsula and Sumatra. This strait connects the South China Sea to the Andaman Sea. 5. Indian Ocean. Following the Malacca Strait, the ships sail through the Indian Ocean. 6. Suez Canal. To reach the Mediterranean Sea and ultimately Rotterdam, the ships typically pass through the Suez Canal, a vital waterway connecting the Red Sea to the Mediterranean. 7. Mediterranean Sea. After transiting the Suez Canal, the ships navigate the Mediterranean Sea, reaching European destinations like Rotterdam. 8. Rotterdam Port. Finally, the goods arrive at the port of Rotterdam in the Netherlands. This route combines various seas and canals, offering an efficient and established path for maritime transportation between major international ports. If you have more specific questions or need additional details, feel free to ask.
So how many days needed for this typical route?
The duration of the shipping journey from Shanghai to Rotterdam can vary based on several factors, including the specific route taken, weather conditions, and the type of vessel used. However, as a general estimate, the transit time from Shanghai to Rotterdam through the Suez Canal, navigating the various seas and straits mentioned earlier, is typically around 20 to 25 days for standard container shipping. It's important to note that these are rough estimates, and the actual time may be influenced by factors like port congestion, weather delays, or the chosen shipping company's schedules. Additionally, alternative routes or transportation methods, such as faster container services or expedited shipping options, may impact the overall duration. For accurate and up-to-date information on shipping schedules and transit times, it's advisable to check with the specific shipping company or logistics provider handling the shipment. They can provide more precise details based on the current conditions and available services.
So, since it has to go through the Mediterranean Sea, so I was thinking, is there any kind of a ports also around the Mediterranean Sea? Because you see, if we directly go to the Rotterdam, it has to go through the Mediterranean Sea, right? So why not simply build a port around the Mediterranean Sea? It will be far short, and it also reaches a lot of countries in the southern side of the European continent.
Building ports along the Mediterranean offers advantages such as shorter shipping routes, improved accessibility, and efficient transportation links to various European countries. Several major ports in the Mediterranean include 1. Piraeus Port, Greece, one of the largest ports in the Mediterranean, serving as a gateway to southern Europe and the Balkans. 2. Valencia Port, Spain, a significant container port on the western side of the Mediterranean, facilitating trade in the region. 3. Port of Marseille, France, strategically located. Marseille serves as a key port for both container and cruise ship traffic. 4. Port of Genoa, Italy, Italy's busiest port, handling various cargo types and providing access to the country's industrial and commercial centers. 5. Port of Alexandria, Egypt, located at the northern entrance of the Suez Canal. Alexandria is a major hub for transshipment and trade between the Mediterranean and the Red Sea. 6. Port of Haifa, Israel, a critical port in the eastern Mediterranean, offering connections to Europe, Asia, and Africa. Building ports in the Mediterranean enhances regional trade, facilitates smoother logistics, and reduces shipping distances for goods traveling to and from Europe. The existing network of Mediterranean ports contributes significantly to the efficiency and economic development of the surrounding areas.
Okay, I think that this is all the stuff I have prepared to ask. Is there anything I'm still missing? Maybe can you help me to extend that?
It seems like you've covered a wide range of topics related to ports, maritime trade, and global shipping routes. If you're interested in further exploration, you might consider delving into specific case studies or historical developments related to notable ports. Additionally, you could explore emerging trends in the shipping industry, such as advancements in containerization, environmental considerations, or the impact of digital technologies on logistics. Feel free to let me know if there's a specific area you'd like to dive deeper into, or if you have any new topics in mind for our future discussions. I'm here to assist with any questions or information you're seeking.
So maybe one final question around this topic. So I'm thinking, I'm kind of wondering how are the tariffs being applied to the global trade, and what are the reasons and maybe some of the history background and the current situation.
Tariffs play a significant role in global trade, influencing the cost of goods, economic policies, and international relations. Here's a brief overview of tariffs, their historical background, and the current situation. 1. Definition and purpose. Tariffs. Taxes imposed on imported or exported goods, acting as a source of government revenue and a tool for economic policy. Purpose. Tariffs aim to protect domestic industries, regulate trade balances, and generate revenue for the government. 2. Historical background. Protectionism. Historically, nations used tariffs to shield domestic industries from foreign competition, fostering economic growth and protecting jobs. Trade wars. Tariffs have been a catalyst for trade tensions and conflicts throughout history, with nations engaging in trade wars by imposing retaliatory tariffs. 3. Current situation, trade agreements. Many countries participate in trade agreements aimed at reducing or eliminating tariffs to promote free trade. Examples include the World Trade Organization, WTO, and regional agreements like NAFTA, now USMCA, and the EU. Tariff disputes. Tariff disputes and negotiations are common, especially between major economies. Recent examples include trade tensions between the US and China. 4. Impact on global trade. Supply chains. Tariffs can disrupt global supply chains, affecting the cost and availability of goods. Consumer prices. Tariffs may lead to higher impacting consumers and businesses. 5. Reasons for tariff implementation. Protecting industries. Governments may impose tariffs to protect domestic industries from foreign competition. Strategic interests. Tariffs can be used to achieve strategic economic or political objectives. Revenue generation. Historically, tariffs were a primary source of government revenue. Understanding the history and dynamics of tariffs provides insights into the complexities of global trade and the ongoing debates surrounding protectionism versus free trade. If you have specific questions or would like more detailed information on a particular aspect, feel free to ask.
So you talked about the World Trade Organization, WTO, right? So I'm wondering, so what's the role of the WTO's plays in the whole global trade, and how it typically works for different countries, and how does this organization enforce some of its policies and rules for different countries?
The World Trade Organization, WTO, plays a crucial role in facilitating and regulating global trade. Here's an overview of its role, functioning, and enforcement mechanisms. 1. Role of the WTO. Facilitating trade negotiations. The WTO serves as a platform for member countries to negotiate trade agreements, aiming to reduce barriers and promote fair and open trade. Rulemaking. It establishes rules and agreements governing international trade to ensure predictability, transparency, and non-discrimination. Dispute settlement. The WTO provides a mechanism for resolving trade disputes between member countries. Monitoring and surveillance. The organization monitors global trade policies and provides a forum for regular reviews of members' trade policies. 2. How the WTO works. Trade rounds. The WTO conducts trade negotiations in rounds, with the most recent being the Doha Development Agenda. These rounds address various aspects of trade, including tariffs, subsidies, and intellectual property. Agreements. The WTO has several key agreements, such as the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, (APE), and the Agreement on Trade-Related Aspects of Intellectual Property Rights, TRIPS. 3. Enforcement mechanisms. Dispute Settlement Body, DSB. The DSB is the core mechanism for settling trade disputes. It provides a forum for parties to present their cases, and its rulings are binding. Trade policy reviews. Members undergo regular reviews of their trade policies and practices, encouraging transparency and accountability. Negotiation and consultation. The WTO emphasizes negotiation and consultation to address trade issues before resorting to formal dispute settlement procedures. 4. Challenges and criticisms. Stalled negotiations. The WTO faces challenges in advancing multilateral trade negotiations, leading to some countries pursuing regional or bilateral agreements. Unequal benefits. Critics argue that the benefits of the WTO's rules disproportionately favor developed nations, limiting the economic gains for developing countries. In summary, the WTO acts as a global forum for trade negotiations, rulemaking, and dispute resolution. Its effectiveness depends on member countries' commitment to upholding the agreed rules and participating in negotiations. The organization strives to create a fair and open global trading system, promoting economic development and cooperation among nations. If you have specific questions or want more details on any aspect, feel free to ask.
So the WTO can do the coordination work for the for the global trade. So why is there still some of the trade wars happening?